UFC London is here, and finally, we are done with fight night cards that are haphazardly put together. Last week's card was pretty awesome. I made some good finish predictions, knowing which fights were probably going to go to finish. We did better than 50% for sure. I can't even remember what the last record was for it. But we did pretty decent. I know that for sure. Coming into this week, though, we got a great card. These are some fantastic matchups all the way up and down this card. And honestly, we're gonna see a lot of crossroads for a lot of careers here. Okay, as you can see, in our main event, we got Leon Edwards and Sean Brady deciding who's gonna get that title shot down the line, possibly. But who knows with the line we've seen recently at welterweight's been everywhere. But starting off, we got Guram Kutateladze versus Kauê Fernandez. I forgot how they said his name. Pretty wide odds here. We're gonna have a lot of wide odds in a few certain fights. Some I agree with, some I don't. Maybe this one's a little too, maybe a 3-1. But Guram has showed that he is very good, very good. Fighting Vucenic most recently, I'm pretty sure, who's actually higher up on the card, going against Fernandez with a wide stance style that it's good, and he crashes in, and he can get that really hard straight. He can do a lot of good stuff with his leg kicks. He caused a ton of leg damage on what was his name? Muhammad Iaya. Yeah, absolutely dismantled the man. But then went to split with Mark Jacasey before that, and watching Vucenic versus Guram, man, Guram, he's just got the ability to kind of do everything in a fight. The way he can come back after going through a really tough first round, he can take damage, but he can keep that tight defense, high guard if he needs it. And then when he throws, man, he throws with some power. Guram is just incredibly dexterous, has fantastic kicks. I just don't see any way that he loses this fight. So we're going with Guram there. Next, we got Loughran versus Nathan Fletcher. Good fight here. Tough one to predict, actually. The reach advantage has always been a problem for Callan at this division. Looked pretty decent against Jake Hadley. Dropped that one. Jake Hadley, with his counter grappling, getting off the cage, and then skirting around the sides, getting his shots in. Got him a pretty decent win. But then we got Nathan Fletcher at the other side here, most recently in his tough fight against Ramaska. And great finish, honestly. Great finish. That was a pretty good one. But he's coming into a not at the highest of the high caliber starting off, but not an easy one in his first time out. Callan stays very disciplined in his stance. He's got a hell of a chin. And if Nathan's gonna look to grapple him, that's a tough ask. Callan's pretty tough to take down as well. So we got close odds here. Nathan Fletcher, I guess, riding that bit of momentum. And he is a submission threat. If he does get on top, I mean, he's definitely going to... Loughran's going to be in trouble. I don't know if the striking is going to be there for Nathan Fletcher in this fight. I think Callan, the way he moves forward, it's going to present something maybe a little uncomfortable for Nathan. So I'm actually going to go Callan Loughran in this fight. I'm going to go the underdog here. Nathan may have a tough time with this one. That's what I'm predicting. Then we got Shauna Bannon versus Puja Tomar. Two fighters that actually have a similar move set that they draw from, but different styles is how they employ them. Puja being the southpaw here, Shauna Bannon being the orthodox fighter. May have that reversed. Can't remember. But either way, it's the open stance. And Shauna likes using her lead leg a lot more than Puja. Puja also uses that side kick, but Shauna is all about those lead head kicks, side kicks, a lot of lead leg stuff, and using a lot of footwork moving around the outside, but also pressing, whereas Puja is more so the one who skirts around the outside the most of the time, but likes using her rear leg more. So it's going to be very interesting. Shauna Bannon a little bit more herky-jerky with her movements too. Puja a little bit more disciplined in hers, but Puja, I must mention, one of the shortest reaches in this division, 59 inches. And if you got two styles that are pretty similar like this, I'm going to start leaning toward the higher volume, longer fighter to outpoint that. Because Shauna is also a decent submission threat on the ground, especially off her back. She'll be active off her back. And I don't think Puja is going to want to maybe participate in the grappling on this one. So I'm actually going to go with Shauna Bannon here, Mama B. All right, we're going to go Shauna Bannon. I think that's a pretty good prediction in my opinion. I was kind of on fire with the way I thought the women's fights in the last one were going to go. I picked the wrong winner on one of them, but, you know, it is what it is. Andrey Pulyaev versus Christian Leroy Duncan. Another set of fighters that actually use a lot of the same techniques, but also very different style. This one's a little too wide, in my opinion. A little too wide. I think in both of their last fights, they both showed a good ability to last over a pretty heavy pace and also cause damage along the way. Christian Leroy Duncan, although he lost to Gregory Rodriguez, he was able to land a ton of heavy elbows and good shots and get out of some bad positions, land good knees. So Christian Leroy Duncan still looked good. Andrey, in his contender series fight, man, was getting wrestled against by the other dude. I can't remember his name, but after he got off and was able to, even as he was getting off the cage wrestling, the shots he was landing were brutal. Both of these guys actually like to employ the tie clinch shoulder strike, where pulling your head into the shoulder. That and Andrey's, I saw both of them. I like the Andrey's a little bit better. That being said, though, I don't think it should be 5 to 5.5. I think it should be like maybe minus 300, 250 even. Andrey just looked good, and he looked like he could take a pretty heavy pace. And he looked like he was a little bit more high volume, less power. Christian Leroy Duncan, I think, is going to have the power advantage and the speed advantage here. So I am going to go Christian Leroy Duncan. I just think these odds are a little crazy in my opinion. So yeah, great fight. This is going to be a good one. Two very similar Muay Thai styles going to be going at it here. Marcin Tybura versus Mick Parkin. Great matchup for the Mickster. I'm going to go with Mick Parkin here. He's the heavier guy. And Tybura, love him. He's going to have, I think, more trouble grappling against Mick Parkin. Mick Parkin's training with some of the best out here. All right, he's in that Aspinall Super Gym, okay, for heavyweights. I'm sure he gets grappled on pause a lot, okay? And I like the growth. I like the momentum. Marcin Tybura, 39 years old, guys. Mick Parkin is an underdog. This is great odds for a 29-year-old coming up the division, getting his first ranked fight against a 39-year-old grappler, all right? With the training partners Mick has and the way he's looked recently, and he's progressively looked better too, you just got to take all those things into account. What's he going to look like this time, all right? What's he going to look like this time? I think even better, next level. Mick Parkin is going to make a statement performance. Put your money on that with that underdog. I think it's 2 underdogs we got so far. Speaking of underdogs. The disrespect on the odds of this fight got my boy at a 4-1 favorite against Felipe Dos Santos. Did we just forget the Manel Cap fight? Did we just forget the Manel Cap fight? Felipe Dos Santos is game, okay? And he's already fought the fastest counter striker and one of the best chins, like one of the best power. He fought that dude in his short notice debut, okay? And then wins his next fight, does really well, loses to Andrey Lima, undefeated, cheater. Didn't cheat in his last fight, looked insanely good in all of his fights. Why do we have Felipe Dos Santos? And Felipe Dos Santos was competitive in the Andrey Lima fight. Not as much as Manel Cap, I don't think. But still looked good. But that's because Andrey saw a hole in the takedown defense of Felipe Dos Santos and was able to really just make him use a ton of energy having to get up too. And Andrey Lehman, that man's a brick wall. That is a tough dude to get through. So I just don't think Lohner. I don't think he's of that caliber, and he's got the shorter reach. Felipe, very long, 70-inch reach for the flyweight division. Skinnier torso. He definitely can be picked up and thrown around a little bit, but I don't like to think that all this experience and all these dynamic go for the kill, going for the finish shots that Felipe Dos Santos. A guy making his debut in the UFC 8-0, and it's a Chinese fighter too, which is, am I reading that right? There's no way this guy was born in China. No, yeah, he might have been born in China, but there's no way he's been living there, right? Yeah, okay, Great Britain. Okay, I figured out why I'm confused now. So yeah, that's why. Most Chinese fighters, they have like insanely high records, and it's like they're 24, and it makes like what? So look, this is gonna be an emotional pick for me because I'm gonna pick Felipe Dos Santos. Damn it, I think that finishing ability, that pace, and I bet he's gonna work on his takedown defense, and if not, he's gonna have developed an insane guard. I'm gonna bet on one of those things. All right, I don't give a fuck. I love Felipe Dos Santos. That's my dude. That's mini Charles Oliveira right there. You kidding me? Gotta go for him. Next, we got Jai Herbert versus Chris Padilla. Another great matchup. This is going to be a decent chess match between these two. Chris Padilla is not a guy who always goes balls to the wall with everything. He takes his time. He picks his shots. He keeps a very disciplined guard. He stays more square with his torso from what I saw in his most recent fight at least. Jai Herbert, on the other hand, a little bit of a wider stance, a little bit of a more leaned over stance, and he can just land that jab. That 1-2 comes quick. And I feel like I'm going to see Jai Herbert relying on that heavily. I'm going to see Chris Padilla going for a lot of leg kicks. I think Jai Herbert's going to be probably the best footwork that Chris Padilla has probably went up against at this point. Watch the most recent one, like Rong Zhu and James Lontopper, his most recent too. In terms of footwork, Jai Herbert's going to probably be the best guy he's gone against. And I think it's going to be a lot harder to lay in leg kicks against Jai Herbert in this situation where he's probably seen guys like Chris Padilla before. I think it's a style that he's unfamiliar with per se. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm going to go with Jai Herbert. I think the 1-2 is going to be there. I think he's just going to either get the finish, possibly. Chris Padilla, he's been finished before. Yeah, he has been. Only once by knockout. But it could still happen. And I think the front kicks could be there, but Padilla's got a good defense with those two. This is a close fight. Like, these are great odds, honestly. Like, this is very on point for me. Just with the way how defensively sound Chris Padilla is. Jai could have trouble, but I think the shots down the middle are going to be there for him. I think he's going to get this one by decision. Next, we got Nathaniel Wood versus Morgan Charrière, a fight that a lot of people have probably been waiting for a hot minute, all right? Most recently, Morgan Charrière going against Gabriel Miranda, losing Chipe Mariscal before that. So he's been around town at featherweight for a bit. Our boy Nathaniel, how can you forget my boy Nathaniel Wood? Who doesn't love a good Nathaniel Wood fight? I forgot about the grappling stuff he's also been doing in between. But the Daniel Pineda fight, lost to Muhammad Naimov, which, looking back, also well-aged win. Like, he lost to Champion Mariscal. He lost to Naimov, who just beat the hot prospect Akamura, I think. Ria Nakam. Let me re-look that up. Oh no, I'm thinking of someone else. Yep, I am thinking of someone else. I'm thinking of Gafarov. Yeah, Naimov though, still most recently in his fights have also looked really good. Yeah, this is probably the one I had the most trouble with. I just want to rely on Nathaniel Wood's just like reliability over all 3 rounds. I mean, it feels like a very similar situation to the previous fight for how close it is, but both these guys have a similar style. I just think Nathaniel Wood, it's just going to be a little bit more crafty getting to the target, you know? And if it's going to be any sort of takedown threat involved, I feel like it would be Nathaniel who would have the edge. So yeah, I think I'm going to go with Nathaniel Wood. That's who I'm going with, for sure. All right, next we got Jordan Vucenic versus Chris Duncan. Jordan Vucenic looked fantastic in his fight against Garam. I think took the first round from Garam, if I'm remembering correctly, and then Garam came out much better in the second round, and then the third, but put damage on Garam. All right, Chris Duncan, on the other hand, known for that finisher guillotine where the guy went out and then he let go of the guillotine. The guy was just laying on his chest like he just had to wake up. But lost to Manel Torres before that, and then got a good win over Yanal Shmooch, who I actually rate pretty well. But Jordan Vucenic looked like he's got all the tools, man, all the tools. The way he will mix up low, middle, high with both kicks and punches, and it's just a very disciplined guard as well. I think even he switches stances as well, if I remember correctly, in the ground fight. I don't think it's just going to be something Chris Duncan's going to be ready for. I don't think it's going to be something he's seen before. Yeah, Jordan Vucenic coming in here, and the London crowd is getting some bangers. I'm telling you, they got a lot of their good fighters for this one. So hopefully a emphatic win for Jordan Vucenic, because I want to see him shoot up close to that border of the 15 quickly. What's he, 29? Let's get him up there quickly. This was great matchmaking. So hopefully Jordan can get this one done. But yeah, definitely going with Jordan Vucenic here. Molly McCann versus Alexia Thainara. Man, I'm not gonna lie, I was searching for ways to pick Molly McCann. And I'm gonna pick Molly McCann. I think Molly McCann is gonna give a veteran performance, all right? She's been through it, all right? Her career at this point, she is a UFC veteran, all right? I think her grappling is a step ahead of Alexia's. The way I was able to see Molly McCann come back from the storm she had to endure in the first round against Bruna Brazil, getting pretty much knocked down twice by body shots, and then being able to counter grapple and survive that round, and then come out the next round and get a big slam, a big hip toss in the second round. Man, I don't know. Molly McCann is going to have the reach disadvantage. She's going to in every fight. That's why she's down here at strawweight. But the way she is fearless in closing distance, the way she is fearless now in her grappling, because we used to know her as the striker who got knockouts. Now she fixed that hole in her game in the grappling. Got armbarred, I think. What was it? Against Stolyarenko, and then came back with two of her own arm bars in a grappling competition and against Belbita. I think Molly McCann is just like, she's one of the most focused fighters I've seen, and that always impresses me. I think Alexia is a great fighter. I think she's going to do really good things. And she's young, too, 27, young in the game, but also like just getting to that point where she should be starting to go up. And maybe I want her to win because I would like a prospect to grow, and this is a good name to build off of. But I think Molly McCann is going to give a veteran performance and use her grappling, use her cage work, break really hard off the fence with big shots. That's what I'm thinking, and that's what I'm hoping for my girl Molly. Next, we got Kevin Holland versus Gunnar Nelson. Very interesting fight. Gunnar Nelson with the more karate style, but with the jiu-jitsu in the back pocket. Similar on the other side, Kevin Holland with the kung fu and the jiu-jitsu in the back pocket. And at 172, so it's actually going to be effective here. Whereas at 185, the jiu-jitsu just not really is there for my man Kevin Holland. This is a tough one. You have to ask yourself, how hard did Kevin Holland take that loss to Reiner de Ritter? How bad did he feel about that? Because if he actually felt bad about it, I mean, I'm glad afterwards he got on Twitter and said, well, I look like shit. Gonna have to tighten some things up. And he's been real chill. He's had some comments here and there on Fight Week, just joking around, but he's been chill since that loss. I'm going to I hope in my heart that this 6'3", 81-inch welterweight who has knockout power and who did go toe-to-toe with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Wonderboy put it on him, but he did land his own. Okay, he did good. He did show an ability to also be on top if he wants to. I am going to go with Kevin Holland. And I hope to God this man is setting himself straight. I want to see him up there with Buckley. My man, you knocked out Joaquin Buckley. He is now this close to title contention. This close. He was almost the guy who Bilal was going to fight. That could be you. And I'm not going to say it should be you. But it could be you. It still could be you. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. But yeah, I am picking Kevin Holland. Next, we got Jan Błachowicz versus Carlos Ulberg. My boy Carlos Ulberg, my boy Jan Błachowicz. One of the ones I actually don't want to see either of these guys lose, to be honest. I like Gunnar Nelson too, but I want Kevin Holland to he should be up there. But back to this matchup. Co-main event. Could be title eliminator for Carlos. Who knows? With an impressive performance now that we have Magomed Ankalaev on the scene. Okay? A standout performance from Carlos Ulberg beating Jan Błachowicz, the only guy who got as close as Magomed to just beat him, to beating Alex Pereira. Carlos Ulberg, my man. It's a big moment. Very big moment. I don't know how you're the favorite. I don't know. Probably because Jan is 42. That's what I'm assuming. It has to be that, right? I mean, Jan went to a split decision with Pereira in his last fight. He's been dealing with injury, and you know that's got to be accounted for. But 2-1, we had Chris Padilla, Jai Herbert at closer odds, but I understand it. I get the argument. Carlos showed an ability to take shots in his last fight. I've been going back and forth in this one. I have been. Jan Błachowicz just body kicks and his leg kicks, his patience are just so good. His counter striking is so good. He can get the takedown. Is Carlos Ulberg going to be the footwork guy on Jan Błachowicz at this point in his career? That's what I'm having to think. That's what I'm having to figure out. Because it's a very similar build to Izzy. Similar style-ish. I'm going with another underdog. I'm picking Jan. I think he is going to damage Carlos in the body and legs in ways that he's not been tested before. Okay? I think Jan is just... that Polish power, I mean, it's a joke, but... And it's like just like a funny thing that they say, but man, for Jan, that shit's real. That feels so real to me. That power that he has in those kicks are... It's not even anything like super flashy or nothing, but it's just so reliable. I think he's going to catch Carlos like while he's trying to implement the footwork. That's just how I feel. I feel like Jan can slow him down in a 3-round fight with grappling if he needs to and outpoint him there. I think a 3-round fight's just going to be better for Jan, if anything. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Jan. That's another underdog. I think he's going to stop the train here. I think technically, I think the train already got stopped long ago, right? By Kennedy Nzechukwu is now a heavyweight, so, you know. But these are things to think about, bro. These are things to think about. Carlos Ulberg, I mean, he looked like he was very hittable still in the previous fight. That's all I'm saying. And Jan got through Pereira when he was even, you know, just coming into lightweight. So probably still getting his weight back. Carlos is probably going to be Is he going to be the heavier guy, though? Is he going to be heavy? Is Carlos Ulberg heavier than Pereira? That's the thing. And Jan he's a pretty big light heavyweight, honestly. Not in terms of frame. In terms of 6'2", it's a pretty decent 78-inch reach for the division, but he's a big dude. He carries a lot of muscle. But yeah, I think it's gonna be Jan. And hopefully he makes a statement on the mic. Maybe we get the Pereira rematch. I hope. I think that fight should happen. It was too close of a fight the first time. They need 5 rounds. Yeah, that's how I feel. Next, we got Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. I'm gonna go with Leon Edwards, and I don't think it's. I didn't say that quick because I don't think it's obvious or anything, but I just feel very sure in this. I think the fan base give Leon Edwards a pretty tough time. They give Sean Brady a really tough time too. Sean Brady has great grappling. I love watching his grappling events whenever he's doing Fury FC or if he's on Fight Pass. Has he been on Fight Pass yet? I know he's the Fury Pro Grappling, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not Fight Pass, just the Fury Pro Grappling. But he looks great in those, man. That's high level stuff for sure. And it's great top pressure if he does get on top. And Leon Edwards, he's incredibly difficult to take down. Belal is a special case. Kamaru Usman, also a special case. These guys are top of the divisions in those respective areas. And Leon looked good. He looked great. He passed those tests seemingly already. He was on his way to beating Belal the first time. I know people like to make fun of Leon for the 5 a.m. argument. I think there's a ton of value in talking about that. I mean, there's just no way that is optimal for the dude that's the hometown guy. It's hard for me to believe that at all. Like I don't get that because that's literally the time zone that Belal would be used to fighting in. Like that's how it is. And Belal doesn't even have to adjust to the time zone in the UK. He can just keep the same time zone that he felt at home. So I get the argument, and honestly, I feel that because I don't know, it just didn't. I saw how he looked in the first Belal fight, and he just looked like they weren't even supposed to be in there together. That's just how I feel, and I think those are real reasons. Just the question is, Sean Brady going to be able to get Leon down over 5 rounds? I don't think he can in round 1. I don't think he can in round 2 if he can't get him down in round 1. And if Sean Brady's going to have to be the guy pushing forward with a inch and a half, not crazy, but also the height, like, so it's going to be harder for Sean to like shoot his shots up at Leon. Yeah, with all these attributes that I'm seeing, I just don't think these first 2 rounds are going to go very good for Sean Brady if he's going to have to be the guy to push forward. Because what is he going to leg kick Leon? I don't think he's going to be able to do that. He might be able to. Leon does have a tendency to maybe cover up whenever flurries are coming at him. So maybe Sean Brady can take advantage of that and then push him up against the cage. But Leon, I really believe he's going to come into this fight much more focused and much more urgent on cage sequences and getting off the fence. Like, because he has to. You have to. If he's going to do well and win this fight, he cannot let those first 2 rounds go because he spent so much time on the cage and like used a ton of his endurance on that. Just cannot be that way if Leon Edwards wants to win. And I think he's going to do it. So that's going to be another underdog for you, all right? In fact, just make the parlays out of the underdogs. Just make it Leon, Jan. Was Kevin an underdog? Kevin. And who was another one? And Mick Parkin. Tell me that isn't the craziest fucking parlay you've ever seen. They got Mick Parkin at close, near even. All right, plus money. They got Kevin Holland, slight underdog, plus money. They got Jan at plus 185. Good value there. And then they got Leon at plus 125. Make a parlay out of that. Fucking, I don't know shit about gambling, but that sounds fun. All right, I know about fun. That's what I know about. Tell me what you guys think, how you guys think I did on these picks. Leave a comment below. Leave a like. Leave a sub. I'll be here. I'll definitely be here to stream this event because it'll be 1 p.m. on a Saturday. Let's go, boys. We're definitely streaming this one. Try and do Cage Warriors 186 for Harry Hardwick. I think it's 186. Yeah, 186. So that'll be fun. See ya.